people slip, trip, or fall, they sometimes get seriously hurt. In fact, over 300,000 injuries result from slips, trips, and falls each year, and over 600 deaths. Slips, trips, and falls can be avoided by following simple, easily understood safety practices. When it comes to slips, trips, and falls, your safety depends on keeping a step ahead. Slips, trips, and falls are 100% preventable, and yet are the third leading cause of work-related deaths. According to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, they account for over 19% of all disabling work injuries. In this program, we'll look at the causes of common slips, trips, and falls in the workplace and ways to prevent them, when, where, and how to use fall protection equipment, and techniques for reducing the impact of slips, trips, and falls. Common causes of slips, trips, and falls include slippery or uneven surfaces, obstructions such as hoses stretched across an aisle or defective floor mats, the improper use of ladders and stairs, spills not properly cleaned up, shoes not designed for the surfaces they'll be used on, poor or inadequate lighting, poor housekeeping in work and walking areas, and unsafe behavior such as horseplay or jumping from high places. Slips, trips, and falls can be completely controlled and eliminated through awareness, safe work procedures, and engineering controls. If a problem should arise that you can't immediately resolve, be sure to contact your supervisor or safety manager. Slips can happen in almost any part of the workplace. You should be aware of the possibility of slips no matter where you work. How slippery a surface is depends, of course, on what it's made of. Some surfaces are much more slippery than others. Add water, a spilled substance, grease or oil, or even fresh wax or polish, and you really have the potential for slips and falls. Sometimes wet surfaces cannot be avoided. Use floor mats to help remove the wetness from shoes. The mats should have a non-skid bottom and should be changed as often as necessary. For your own protection, use the mats, but remember that the soles of your shoes may still be wet or slippery. Use extra precaution as you proceed. Leather soles and high heels compound the hazard of slippery surfaces. Some heels may also get caught in steel grates. If you work in an area where there are slippery surfaces, wear shoes with non-skid soles. When selecting shoes, consider what chemicals or other substances they'll be exposed to. Obstructions such as blocked aisleways, materials not properly stored, open drawers, unsecured hoses or cords across pathways, and other obstacles are trip hazards just waiting to become accidents. Preventing a potentially serious trip injury from happening comes down to two simple points. Number one, be aware of and respect the hazard. And number two, take a second to follow safe procedures by removing or eliminating the hazard. Close all drawers after getting what you need, even if it'll just be open for a minute or two. Hoses and cords should never become permanent fixtures across an aisle. If they need to be there for more than a few moments, secure them. When the job requires a number of tools or parts to be out, cordon off the area. Use markings and warning signs to make others aware of potentially hazardous areas. Colored striping or other highly visible markings should be used to show the change from a level floor surface to a ramp or different surface level. Good housekeeping is everyone's responsibility. You are in the best position to notice, report, and correct conditions that could cause a slip, trip, or fall. Poor lighting reduces your chances of noticing a hazard. Good lighting is especially important around high-incident areas, such as loading docks and stairways. If the lighting is inadequate or a bulb needs to be replaced, report it immediately to your supervisor or safety manager. Ladders account for over 30,000 injured workers each year. To meet OSHA requirements, any ladder used must be a Type 1 or 1A, rated for 300 pounds. Inspect the ladder for cracks, slivers, loose rungs, and sharp edges prior to using it. Check the condition of each step. Remove any dirt, oil, grease, or other substances which may cause you to slip. When you use a ladder in a doorway or heavy traffic zone, be sure to block off the area. Secure the door or have a coworker stand at the door while the ladder is in use. This will prevent someone from accidentally hitting the ladder. Whenever you place a ladder against the side of a building or other object, make sure the object is stable. Don't set the ladder up on uneven surfaces and watch out for any potential electrical hazards. When setting up a straight or extension ladder, use the 4-to-1 ratio rule. For every 4 feet of height, the base of the ladder should be out 1 foot. If you climb onto a roof or other object, the ladder should extend a minimum of 3 feet beyond the point where it's supported. For additional protection, the ladder should be tied off at the top, bottom, or both. When climbing a ladder, always maintain 3 points of contact, with either 2 hands and 1 foot, or 2 feet and 1 hand on the ladder. The rung or step of the ladder should be just in front of your heel, under the arch of your foot. Tools and other items should be carried on a belt or raised with a tow line. Many falls occur when a person on a ladder reaches too far to the side. Your belt buckle should never move outside the plane of the 2 rails of the ladder. Instead of reaching out too far, climb down and move the ladder. Fixed ladders and stairways are other areas where falls can take place. 80% of all falls that happen on stairs occur on the first 2 or the last 2 steps. 90% of all stairway falls are due to unsafe behavior. Don't run up or down stairs or skip a step. Take them one at a time and be sure to use the hand railing. Never carry a load that blocks your vision or makes it difficult to maintain your balance. Falls often happen when we're in a hurry or are thinking of something else. Stairways deserve your full concentration. Stairs should be kept clear at all times. Don't store anything on stairs, even for a short time. Eliminating slips, trips, and falls on stairways requires your individual attention and action. You may be able to prevent accidents by reporting physical plant problems to your supervisor or to maintenance. Notify them when railings are not in place or are not firmly anchored. Barrier signs are not used while mopping. Lights have burned out and need to be replaced. Drain covers are not in place. And loose or worn walking surfaces need to be repaired or replaced. When tasks are performed at heights without the protection normally provided by floors, guardrails, scaffolds, and aerial platforms, fall protection equipment is needed. Fall protection equipment and emergency retrieval systems are also required during confined space entry. Fall protection equipment may include safety nets, lifelines, lanyards, body belts, and harnesses. Preventing falls from heights requires pre-planning, careful execution, and proper use and maintenance of fall protection equipment. Since fall protection is usually needed in areas not normally designed for regular human occupancy, a qualified individual should decide which equipment to select and use. Workers required to wear fall protection equipment need to be trained in its proper use. The training should include how to inspect the harness, belt, lifeline, winch, and other equipment, selection of proper anchoring points and how to set them, how to protect the lifeline so it can't be cut on pinch points or sharp objects, how to set up a retracting system, and what to do in the event of an emergency. Fall protection equipment may be exposed to many elements which can affect its performance level. The equipment should be cleaned, stored, and tested according to the manufacturer's specific recommendations. When you can't avoid walking on slippery surfaces, there are things you can do to make the job safer. Choose the best shoes for the job. Walk slower than you usually do, and take smaller, compact steps. Bend your knees a little, and point your toes out slightly. If you find yourself in a slip, trip, or fall, free your hands of any objects you may be holding. Try to protect your most vulnerable points, which are the head and neck, spine, internal organs, and joints. Try to spread the force of the fall's impact. Finally, if you discover an unexpected slip, trip, or fall hazard, try to eliminate it. Warn others about the potential hazard and report the problem to your supervisor or safety manager. In this program, we've looked at common slips, trips, and falls and what you can do to prevent them. We've also examined fall protection equipment and safety techniques that will help keep you from being injured. You may have thought that slips, trips, and falls are not big problems, but the statistics you heard at the beginning of this program prove otherwise. Being aware of slip, trip, and fall hazards is important. Respecting the hazards and following established safety procedures are essential parts of the prevention process. Follow the simple procedures outlined in this program and make a commitment to protect yourself from injuries.